So everybody's talking again about buying Bitcoin as if they did not learn their lesson in December. I hope you were not one of the ones buying it for 17, 20,000 just to realize a few days to a few weeks later that was only worth half or even less than that. And this is exactly what's happening again. The hype is out. Buy it, it's going to the moon, and you hear all these crazy stories. Well, there were obvious signs, and we've been talking about it on our website, which is called marketcrash.money. If you go to this site and you click on Bitcoin crash, there's multiple reasons here that were listed before the Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, we've been talking about the Bitcoin crash since it was $18,800. Now, the signs are here again as they were before. The signs that the Bitcoin was going to go down were so obvious, especially if you've ever traded stocks. You know, sometimes if the CEO of the company or, a director of the company sells a lot of shares, or they talk negatively about the company, well, ultimately, that stock is going to go down. Roger Ver came out in December and said, hey, Bitcoin is obsolete. And nobody wanted to hear that. Nobody wanted to believe it. And yet he owns Bitcoin.com. And so why would he be saying that? But he's one of the guys that, got in way earlier than everybody else. So when he came out and said that, well, that was your first sign. Just a few days later after he did that, the signs in December were very, very clear. And by the way, if you visit the site, marketcrash.money, click on Bitcoin crash, there's a million reasons here that were stated why Bitcoin was going to crash before it actually did. And all those reasons are still valid today. If you're interested in knowing how to profit from stock market crash or Bitcoin crash, please visit the site, get the information, and schedule a consultation on how you can profit. But going back to the signs, and the Litecoin owner has sold all of his coin back in December when it was trading around $400. Well, it fell a little bit. It should have fallen quite a bit lower. But this was another sign that he knew it was going to top out. He sold all of his Litecoin, and yet people are still bullish on Litecoin. Why would somebody sell all of his Litecoin if he thought it was continue to go higher later? So apparently the inside information, which is not available to everyone, clearly tells us what's going to happen. So shortly after he sold it for 400, it was trading in the 100 range. Well, what's the sign now? Well, there it is. Ethereum founder warns cryptocurrencies could drop to near zero at any time. Now, should we ignore this sign as well? Should we say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just an Ethereum founder. I know better than him. No, let me ask you a question. If Jeff Bezos of Amazon came out on public television tomorrow and told you, hey, I think Amazon stock is going down to $10 in the near future, what do you think would happen to the share price of Amazon? Well, of course it would drop. So when you have a clear warning from somebody that actually created Ethereum itself that says, hey, there is a chance that it could go down to zero, well, you can take this lightly. You don't have to listen to him. But why would he be even coming out and saying something like this? The last two warnings I just showed you led to a drop from Bitcoin from the 19,000 range to 6,000 range. You're going to say, well, hey, it doesn't matter. Just a couple of days ago, somebody bought 400 million worth of Bitcoin. Well, you're exactly right. Somebody did, and it was probably a hedge fund to buy that number of Bitcoin. But guess what? Right now, Bitcoin is trading, as I'm recording this video, at 11,500. Guess what they bought the 400 million of Bitcoin at what level? They bought it at 5,900 to 6,000 level. So by now, whoever did that, they're already doubling their money. So what are you doing getting in at $11,000, $12,000 range? So as you're getting in right now, whoever bought $400 million of Bitcoin is probably selling it quietly into the hype. And if you've ever traded stocks, okay, the way these institutional investors, the way these hedge funds and banks, they have a saying that goes, sell into the strength. So right now, clearly, the stock has gone, the Bitcoin has gone from 6,000 to 11,500 in a matter of what seems to be a few days or a couple of weeks. And so the smart people are selling right now into the strength of this price action. If you look at the charts, Bitcoin has moved higher from 6,000 to 11,500 on lower volume, which is actually a bearish sign. So my suggestion would be sell it now. Sell it while you can. Because what do you think is going to happen to majority of the people that are going to come in, buy it right now, 11, 12, let's say it goes to 13 in the next couple of days, fine. What are these people going to do when it's going to be trading back at 8,500, 8,000, 7,500? Do you think there's going to be more of a negative sentiment if it dips the second time? Plus, with my experience trading stock options for many, many years, the whole theory of buying things on the dip is going for a shift. So buying on the dip used to be true for the last 7-8 years, but a lot of guys that with the hedge funds that trade in big amounts, that really set the direction of all these price moves, price directions and price movements. Many more of them are recently coming out and say, hey, we're not buying this dip. We're not buying this dip in stock market. We're not buying this dip in Bitcoin. And this is something that should, you know, if you're not going to listen, at least just take a notice of that. And look, every video I have made about Bitcoin crash, there's always a bunch of haters that are coming out and saying, hey, that's a bunch of BS. Hey, it's never going to happen. It's this. You know, nobody believed that Bitcoin was going to go from, you know, nothing, 10 cents, a dollar, to 20,000. And so when it got there, also no one believed that it actually had any potential to drop from the 18 to 20,000 range all the way to 5,900. But it did. And so now you actually have a chance, if you did buy in at the dip, to actually get out of it, because the second dip will follow. And there's many reasons of that. And the whole bull case for the entire crypto market and blockchain is great. However, for the Bitcoin, it is just not so. And just to name a couple of things that you can discover here at marketcrash.money. And this is, by the way, probably the guy that bought the 400 million of Bitcoin. Okay, and he's probably selling it right now. When you double your money, hey, it's not a bad idea to at least take some of your position off the table, right? But here's the thing, everybody's been saying and using as an argument that, hey, the more people are going to be using Bitcoin, the more valuable it's going to be, the higher the price and all that crazy stuff. So what has actually happened? Were there more people using Bitcoin in December? No, there was actually less people using Bitcoin than the number of people that are using Bitcoin now in February 2018. And where's the price? Well, in December it was at 20,000. Now it's at 10, 11, 12,000. Okay, so just because more people are using Bitcoin does not mean that its price is going higher. And all the stories about forking the Bitcoin and the fact that there's only 21 million Bitcoins that ever can be created, all of that stuff is just nonsense. Since this forking the Bitcoin has been introduced, okay, all of a sudden the number of coins is unlimited. And you know what else is unlimited? The number of other cryptocurrencies that are being created daily. So ultimately, there's going to be a winner that will have all the characteristics of the Bitcoins times 100, that may be a very well used currency that will serve the purpose that, of what Bitcoin was created for, and that would be wonderful. However, the bull case for Bitcoin is over. And at this current price levels, while it is still traded at 11, 12,000, as many people are creating the bull case saying that it is going to 20,000 again and it is going to the moon, this is actually perfect time to get out. We clearly have seen that Bitcoin was falling at the same time as the markets were falling in the first week of February. So if the stock market is going to fall, which it has a very high probability of doing over the course of the next month, so will the Bitcoin. I know everywhere they're saying, well, it's a totally different asset class. They're totally unrelated, uncorrelated, and this is why a bunch of hedge funds are just going to come in and buy it. But that's not really the case. We clearly have seen that this is not the case in the first week of February. Everything was falling like a rock. And it's not going to be any different if the stock market is going to take a nosedive again. And there's many, many reasons why this actually have a high probability of happening. If you're interested in knowing, or actually if you were curious, hey, what could have you done when Bitcoin was 20,000 to profit on the way down? Because as far as percentage returns, you would have made a lot more than people that bought it, say, for 3,000 held on to when it was 18 by shorting it. And if you're interested in knowing how to do that, now come over here to marketcrash.money, click on how to profit, schedule your consultation. I'd be more than happy to meet with you over the phone, one-on-one, and share you some of my ideas that have generated in excess of 3,800% in returns, regardless of the amount that you're looking to invest. Stock market crash 2018. All the reasons why this could happen. So if it's anywhere in the back of your mind that the markets could come down and you're wondering, well, hey, I don't want to be left out. I've got some money invested in the stock market. I've got some money invested in cryptocurrencies, but I want to protect myself in the event that another Bitcoin crash. And indeed, it was a crash. Going from 20,000 to 5,900, I mean, that's a 75% drop. That is a crash. The same thing with the markets. And we're just touching the tip of the iceberg here as far as the stock market's concerned. So if you're interested to know, well, how do I make money when stuff falls? See, everybody talks about how, well, I buy stuff, I hold it, it goes up, at some point I sell it. Well, if you don't buy it at the perfect time, I mean, you're going to be holding your stuff for a very, very long time. The people that bought the stock market in 2000, when all the technology stocks were crashing, if they got in at the high level, I mean, they had to hold it for years and years and years just to get their money back. And, that actually applies to the stocks, it applies to the cryptocurrencies, and there's just a lot of stuff that's going on right now that could cause the market to crash. So the 1,000-point drop, the 666-point drop that we've seen, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to what could be happening by the end of 2018 or 2019. So if you'd like to protect your investments, if you'd like to put a profitable strategy of how you can diversify your portfolio, of how you can profit from the fall in either cryptocurrencies or the stock markets, visit marketcrash.money. Look at some of the information that has been compiled for your convenience here. Look at some videos and take action. Take action now, because a lot of people got caught off guard on February 2nd when they were betting against the volatility, and they've been doing it for so many years, to where the volatility index was completely crashed 90% after the markets opened on February the 4th. And now that volatility index is closed, they're closing it down. So nobody was prepared for it. So instead of saying, hey, I did not see this, I don't care what the Ethereum founder warns me about cryptocurrency, because sure, I know better than he does, right? Maybe at least take notice of it. And instead of leaving me a bunch of dislikes like everybody does when somebody makes a video about, cryptocurrencies going down, because nobody wants to hear about it, maybe this time, okay, at least write something and express your point of view in the comment section, opposed to just not even wanting to try to hear the alternative point of view here. And the main reason for me to do this is, yes, I'm a trader, so I make money on both sides when the market goes up and when the market goes down. And I think a lot of people get caught off guard when the markets do go down, because you know, it's hard to change your mentality, your philosophy when you've been a bull in the market for so long. It's hard to all of a sudden reverse and say, well, no, there is actually a great chance of a market going down. And so I just want to help those people. I want to help you guys protect yourself from another possibility of what we've seen on February 2nd, for what we've seen happening with the Bitcoin drop, because it could happen again. So just hopefully you'll use this information wisely, at least take notice of it, that it is a possibility. And the best thing to do about it is to be ready. So your investments would be protected and you could actually make money from the drop and prosper. Again, marketcrash.money. Thanks for watching the video. Write a comment, click it, like it, watch the next video. Thanks for your time.